In this video, I'm going to show you how to create this cute pineapple drawing. The original idea came from the Toots Plus website, and it's by this artist, Ivan Petrusevsky. So in Illustrator, the first thing that you need to do is create a new document by going up to File, New. And there are a range of choices up here at the top of this window. I'm going to click Web and choose the minimum size. And I'm going to title this Pineapple and put my name on it. Oops, misspelled pineapple. And click Create. So now I have my nice blank document. The first thing that I'm going to do is draw the shape of the pineapple. To do that, I'm going to go over here to the rectangle tool, click it and hold it, and change it to the ellipse tool. Now right now, the color of the ellipse, the fill is white, and the stroke, which is an outline, is black. I'm going to click the stroke box so it comes forward and change it to none. Then I'm going to bring the fill forward again, and I'm going to change that to the color of my pineapple. So here is the swatch menu. By the way, if any of these menus aren't showing over here on the side, you just need to go to Window and choose it from this list. Sometimes they get closed by somebody that used the program before you. So this is a very limited palette. I want a lot more options. So what I'm going to do is click this little menu right here, go to Open Swatch Library, Color Books, and I'm going to choose Pantone Solid Coated. And it opens this nice menu for me. I'm going to put it over here on the side and stretch the end so I can see all the colors. So let's see, I'm going to choose a nice golden color, maybe this one right here for my pineapple. So you can see that the color showed up right here. Alright, now with my ellipse tool, I'm just going to click and drag an oval in the approximate shape of the pineapple. Now pineapples are more squared off on the top and on the bottom. So to make it look more like the shape of a real pineapple, I'm going to click the Direct Selection tool, which is the white arrow. And I'm going to click directly on this little blue square. It's not always blue, but in this case it is. Then this little handle right here, the little dot at the end of it, I'm going to pull the handle out, and I'm trying to keep it straight and not go tilt it up or tilt it down. So I'm trying to keep it straight. There we go. Then I'm going to click this little dot of the handle and pull it out to approximately the same as the other side. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. So click the square to select it, and then click the dot at the end of the handle. And I want my pineapple to be a little bit wider at the top and a little bit more narrow at the bottom part. Okay, that looks pretty good. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw the crisscross pattern on the pineapple. So to do that, I'm going to use the brush tool, which is right here, and I'm going to make it a little bit of either a darker color or a lighter color, the little line pattern. So first, before I change the color, I need to make sure that the pineapple isn't selected, because if I change the color right now, it's going to change the color of the pineapple, which I don't want. So to deselect that, I'm going to push Control-Shift-A on the keyboard, or you can just click off of it in some cases. So let's see, for this one I'll go with a darker color. How about this dark gold right here? Now with the brush tool, I want to choose a specific brush. So I'm going to open the brushes panel right here. Looks like a little cup with brushes poking out of it. And the brush I want is not a default, so I'm going to open this little side menu and go to Open Brush Library, Artistic, and Ink. Once these get opened, if you scroll down, this is the one I want. So it's pointy on this end and pointy on this end. So I'll click that to select it. And we'll see if 1 point is a good size. Let's try it out. So I'm going to click and drag. That looks like a pretty good size. If it wasn't, I could just click this and make it smaller or make it larger. So I'm going to draw maybe 5 or 6 lines on here, just with the mouse. And if I mess up, I can push Control Z to undo that. And one more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is copy these, but while I'm copying them, I'm going to flip them. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here and open something called the Layers panel, which is these 2 overlapping diamonds. And I'm going to click this little arrow so I can see everything. And I'm going to temporarily put a padlock by clicking in this little empty box on the pineapple. That way, when I select all these little individual lines, I won't accidentally select the pineapple. So with this black arrow, which is the selection tool, I'm just going to click and draw a box. And the box goes around all of the shapes, so now they're all selected. Next I'm going to go to Object, Group. So instead of those all being separate, you can see now they're all combined into one group, which is a lot less confusing to work with. Now, to copy them, I'm going to go to Object, Transform, Reflect, and I get this window right here. And do make sure that Preview is selected so that when you do something, you can see the changes. So when I click Preview, I can see it's going to flip the little lines going the other direction, which is vertical. So this was already set on the correct settings for me. So instead of clicking OK, I'm going to click Copy. There we go. So looks pretty good. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw the eyes and the mouth. So I want my eyes to be black, and I want there to be no stroke around the edge. So let's find black on here. And then I have to click the stroke to move it forward and set it for none. Then go back up to the ellipse tool, and to constrain it to be a perfect circle, just hold down Shift on the keyboard. So let's say an eyeball will go approximately right here. So holding down Shift, click and drag an eyeball. And I can just copy that by pushing Control C, Control V, and then get the selection tool and move that down. There's other ways to copy too. Okay, and line it up. Now I'm going to make the mouth. So again, I'm going to use the ellipse tool, and over here on the side, I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag out a circle. And then above it, I'm going to hold down Shift and click and drag another circle approximately the same size. And just so I don't get confused, I'm going to change the color of this one to any random color. So, whoops, no stroke. So let me turn that back to none and pop forward my fill color and then change it. There we go. Alright, now with the move tool, or the selection tool, I'm going to line these up. So what I want is I want this shape right here to look like a smile. So I'm going to cut this cream colored shape out of the black shape. So to do that, first I have to select both of them with the selection tool, which I already have. So I'll draw a box around both of them so they're both selected. Then I'm going to use something called the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is not usually one of the default panels over here, so you almost always have to go find it under the window menu. So Pathfinder, here we go. And in this Pathfinder panel, I'm going to use this one, which is called minus front. There we go. So it just took a little bite out of that smile. And the smile is too big, so I'm going to shrink it we go, looks pretty cute so far. Now the last thing that I need to do is make the top part with the leaves on it. So there's a light green and a dark green little crown on the pineapple. So let's see here. I'll start by changing my colors. So I'm going to make sure that none of my objects are selected. And scroll down here, get a nice green color. How about this one? And I'm just going to use the ellipse tool to draw a nice oval. And I want it to be pointy on this end, so I'm going to select the pen tool and go to anchor point tool right here. And with the anchor point tool, I'm going to click right on this blue square. And that converts it from a round point to an angled point. Now, with the selection tool, I'm going to hold down Alt and make a copy. And then I need one for down here. So holding down Alt and making a copy, and I need one for here. Then I'm going to rotate it. I'm going to rotate one here so it looks like the little crown. And they can be slightly irregular since plants aren't perfectly formed and symmetrical. Alright, so now that I have these, I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool to group them together into one object. So, with the selection tool, click and drag a box around all of them. I still have Pathfinder open from before. I'm going to choose the first one, which is Unite. So now all these 4 pieces were united into one piece. I'm going to move them up to the general area where I want them, but I want them underneath the pineapple, not on top of it. So let's take a look here in the Layers menu. Let me tear that off for a minute. So we can see that the path with the leaves is way up here and the pineapple is way down here. So I need to move this from here to there. First I'm going to take off the padlock. There are several ways that you can move this. You can simply click it and drag it, or the other thing that you can do is hold down Control on the keyboard and use the bracket next to P on the keyboard. So watch what happens when I push the bracket. It just moves it down one at a time until it gets to where you want it. Now, it's a little bit small, so with the selection tool, which is the black arrow, I'm going to change the size of it. Something like that. And then I need to make 3 more to go behind it. So let's see. I'm going to click my leaves, get a darker green. How about that one? I'll get my ellipse tool, draw an ellipse right here, use the anchor point tool to convert this from a curve to an angle. Use the selection tool to rotate it. Move it into approximately the right spot. Hold down Alt, I can make a copy for over here, and hold down Alt and make a copy for the middle. So I'll rotate that and rotate this. So those leaves are just kind of peeking out behind the other leaves. There we go. And I'm going to hold down Shift on the keyboard and select all of the dark green ones, and then go to Object, Group. So instead of being on 3 separate entities, it's grouped into one little object right here. So again, let's move those underneath the light colored leaves. So click it to select it, and then hold down Control on the keyboard and use the bracket key, which is next to P, and push it, keep pushing it until you get it into the right position. There we go. Finished. So go ahead and save your changes, and then use the snipping tool to take a screenshot of this and put it into your portfolio. That's it for now.